All right, we're back again here in the Sort of Sports Podcast, episode 163. And we actually have some sports stuff to talk about today. It's not what we're going to open with. We're going to open up with Naked Gun. And then later, we will talk about the Shedeur Sanders preseason game. Because anybody who's followed this podcast for a long time knows that I am a diehard Shedeur Sanders fan. Has he already leapfrogged to being my second favorite quarterback in the NFL, if he's a starter? That's going to be the conversation for later. I think my favorite, it's Brycey and Baker are, of course, my top two. But Shedeur might round out the top three. I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry, Justin Herbert. You guys have both been bumped out of the top three. Shedeur Sanders, as long as he starts for Cleveland, will be. Because you guys know my goal is just always to have every NFL team be interesting. And if Shedeur's starting for the Browns, that now makes the Browns the team, not the team, a team that I would love to watch. So I'm always looking for teams to become more interesting. Teams become teams I want to watch. And it's always better when there's a reason to watch every NFL team because that makes me get the most out of Sunday Ticket. That makes me get the most out of the NFL, and that makes the NFL super fun. My dream scenario, Panthers the best team in the league, but all the other teams in the league also have something interesting going on. They don't have to be good. They just have to be interesting, and most of that is quarterback play. For example, if Trevor Lawrence continues not to be very good for the Jaguars, they're just not interesting. I don't care to watch the Jaguars ever. There's nobody that really intrigues me with them. So that's kind of the thing with the Jaguars. But let's start off with my Naked Gun review. Here, baseline review, quick answer. How was the Naked Gun? Hilarious. It was super funny. If you saw a trailer and you think, I think it looks funny, I think I want to see that, you'll like it. It is a great comedy, and I think it's been a long time since we had a great comedy in theaters, so I would strongly encourage you, if you have any interest in seeing a comedy movie in theaters, you want to have a great laugh, bring a group of friends, have a great time. That is the simplest review of it. And I do want to say, I just really wish we could get more movies like this, get more comedy movies in theaters, and I think that seems to be the sentiment among everyone who's went and saw this movie, is that it was super fun to have a big comedy in theaters. And it's fun. It's been a long time since we've had a comedy movie just hit the zeitgeist in the right way. I think the last time would be the 21 Jump Street movies. That's kind of the last big comedies, or like those and The Hangover. And I hope this kind of starts a resurgence of comedy movies. And I think a spoof like this is so old school. This is very like an 80s style spoofy, goofy movie. That's what they're taking from, is those Naked Gun movies from the 80s, and so it doesn't surprise me that it feels that way. But for that to be the resurgence, something that's, kind of an older style, would be quite funny, and I think that might be the path we're going down. And I'm fine with that. It was very funny. There's not a lot of things I could touch on because I don't want to spoil the jokes. I was really happy. My favorite jokes from the movie were not the same stuff I saw in the trailers, except for the manslaughter joke. That joke in the trailers is still one of my favorites, and that was probably my favorite joke in any of the trailers. That made me go, that's really funny. I might have to see that. And I took a large group of friends. A lot of them didn't even know what we were going to get into. They were like, Ryan, what is this? I'm like, trust me, I think it's going to be good. And then they all came out of it really loving it and really thought it was hilarious. They're like, oh man, that was so great. I really loved that. That was so funny. And that was really fun. And I really hope more people go out and see this. I hope it does really well. And it's really funny because I thought about drafting this during RJ's and I's 2025 summer box office movie draft. I thought about drafting it as my bomb, though. I thought this was going to fail. I didn't think, I thought, who wants this, blah, blah, blah. And now I really liked it. I was really happy with it, and I really hope it does well box office. And I hope, like I said, this brings a resurgence of comedy films back to the theaters. A little bit of movie news, though. Weapons is apparently, incredible, which is why I drafted it. I thought it might be. I'm not going to see it. You guys know I'm not into the horror movies. But Weapons is doing quite well review-wise, and it's making a decent amount of money, too. So I'm hoping it'll carry on for my box office movie draft. We'll probably do the wrap-up of that. I think we could probably count it early September. I think we got to give a couple more weeks for some of these movies. We have to see if Superman surpasses Mission Impossible gross-wise, because that'll factor in. RJ drafted Mission Impossible, I drafted Superman. So we'll have to factor that in before we do our talk for who won the first ever summer box office movie draft. So that'll be really fun for RJ and I to check back in. Probably a little less than a month we'll record that pod. But we're getting real close to NFL time, and that's what's really exciting. Should we touch on Shedeur already? Was my Naked Gun review only really 5 minutes? I've seen some people saying that they didn't like, oh, the plot's pretty flimsy. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, but that isn't what this movie's about. This movie is just trying to have as many jokes per minute as possible. In high school, my high school was one of the few high schools that has a comedy improv group, and we always would talk about when we were writing scenes, because once a year we would do a non-improv show. We'd do a scripted show that was like our version of like Saturday Night Live, and we'd write skits and stuff. And we would talk about the JPM, the jokes per minute. And if your scene doesn't have a lot of jokes per minute, you lose the audience. You're trying to hit as many jokes as fast as possible. And if you lose that pace halfway through the scene, we'd have to bring it back to the drawing board, kind of rewrite it and figure out how we get more jokes in. And that's how this movie was. The JPMs in this movie, off the charts. Like, insane levels of jokes per minute, like we've never seen before. Like, they were throwing jokes left and right. I mean, you guys see this poster right here. This is my favorite movie of all time, Beverly Hills Cop. I think it's the funniest movie ever made. This movie had a higher jokes per minute. Now, granted, this movie makes me laugh more, Beverly Hills Cop. I prefer Beverly Hills Cop over the new Naked Gun movie. But I'm saying, as far as jokes per minute, Naked Gun is constantly just firing off as many jokes as possible. Every scene would start and be like, okay, so what's the joke of this scene? Because that's basically how it felt. It felt like every scene, they tried to find the joke of the scene, they hammered that, they got out. That was pretty much how the movie went. It was set up, the plot gives us somewhere to go, we do as many jokes as we can that are funny, we get out. That was how this movie flowed, and it was really fun. It was very different style comedy than you would see somebody like, I would say, like a Sandler make. It's very spoofy, goofy, like ton of jokes. It kind of has a little bit of the vibes of like Get Smart, I would say, more if we're trying to find a more modern film that has similar vibes. But I think even Get Smart cares more about its overall plot and tension than this movie does. This movie does not care about any of that. It is just trying to get as many jokes as possible. And you got to respect that at some point. This is a pure spoof. It's not trying to be a real movie in any sense, if that makes sense. And that sounds like it may be a criticism, but it's actually a compliment. It's just going for as many jokes as possible constantly. And I think that's really fun. And that's why it's an hour like 28 or something. It's really short. And I wanted it to last longer. But as all great comedies, it wasn't very long. And I should say, I did make a video on my YouTube channel, just Ryan Klinger, my name, if you search that up. But I'll also link it in the description. Maybe I'll do the thing where I put like a card in the corner on YouTube. But I'll link it in the description for both Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. I made like a 5-minute video about what I believe makes a comedy classic, how you structure it, and what exactly comedy movies that I think are great, like Happy Gilmore, Wedding Crashers, Beverly Hills Cop, do well, and how they make great comedies. And I would say this movie does a lot of that. But it was also one of the big things I hammered home was being a short movie, being something that's very quick, because it's hard to continue to think of all these jokes in a movie that's 2 hours. And so this movie, being that short, let it have that breakneck pace. If it was 2 hours, they would probably have to care more about the plot, and they would have to care more about the story being interesting, and it couldn't just be constant jokes. But they went for the constant jokes route, which I really enjoyed, which is the reason it's so short, because the only way to keep up that breakneck pace is to have it end pretty quickly. So it was a really fun roller coaster ride. I loved it. I think if you have, like, once again, if you have any interest in seeing this, I'm sure you will like it. It's basically exactly what it's being marketed as. And Cody Rhodes, my boy, he's in it. So Cody Rhodes, it was great to see him. He was great. So enjoyed that. Okay, and that was a really quick review of The Naked Gun. Yeah, it was really fun. I really liked it. Cast does a great job. Liam Neeson, it's really fun that he was in this. It'd be really funny if Liam Neeson kind of kickstarts a new era of comedy movies, when he kind of kickstarted this like new action genre. Like, I think there's a lot of the DNA of Taken in the John Wick movies. I mean, they changed, they made more stylized, but there is something to that like older guy, getting pissed off and going out there and just killing dudes. That DNA is wound and Taken. And it's just funny, like Liam Neeson's late career was that, and then did he just reinvent himself again? Is he going to start being a bunch of comedy movies? I don't know. That'd be really interesting. So hopefully the studios start making more comedy movies, we get more of those. And so now let's shift to the next topic, and that is Mr. Shedeur Sanders. So once again, got to state, anybody who follows this podcast knows I am a big Shedeur Sanders backer. I have been for a decent amount of time, really ever since he went to Colorado. Started following him and Dion there, and just really became a big fan and believed he was the best quarterback entering this draft. I thought maybe there's a chance Cam Ward's better, but to me, I really felt the strongest about Shedeur. Was shocked when he fell, couldn't believe it. I even said, like, it's a big day for the guys who believe the NFL is rigged. Because if Shedeur Sanders goes on to be the savior of the Cleveland Browns, it's a little too cute that Deion Sanders' son had a historic draft fall, wears number 12 in honor of Tom Brady, and saves the worst franchise in NFL history. Just be a little weird, wouldn't it? If he goes on to be like incredible. But I was really excited about him going to the Browns because wherever he went, I was going to follow. I mean, I ordered my Shedeur Sanders shirt ski. I'm a big fan of Shedeur, and so he's not going to be better than my boy Bryce. I mean, Bryce is my guy. But I'm really excited to see what he can do in Cleveland. They started him in that preseason game against my Panthers, oddly enough. So it's like it was meant to happen for me. It's pretty wild. He balled out. Now, granted, we shouldn't read too much into this because it is preseason. And I remember years ago when Kenny Pickett killed it in preseason for the Steelers. And all the Steelers fans were like, oh my gosh, Kenny Pickett's the truth. So granted, we probably shouldn't get too excited. But it is undeniable that Shedeur looked great. And as somebody who thought he was going to be good, I'm pretty pumped. I am pretty excited. And I would love for the Browns to make him the starter coming season. I think they're going to test him out probably in the next couple preseason games. And I just hope he continues to ball out. And I think the Browns become 10,000 times more interesting if Shedeur is the starter. If they win 6 games this year without Shedeur, no one cares. Like on a national level. Obviously, their fans, good for them. But if they win 6 games with Shedeur, that makes them a really interesting team to watch, makes them an interesting team to talk about. I'm sure most NFL fans would like to see the Browns start Shedeur, just from an interest perspective. At least that's what I feel like. I mean, his preseason highlights have like 2 million views on the NFL's page. No rookie is pulling in preseason highlights like that. Like, that's crazy. Tyler Shock's got 53,000. Like, this is huge movement for a 5th-round pick. And so it's really going to be interesting to see what the Browns do. I really hope he ends up winning the starting job because I really like Shedeur Sanders, and I really think he can be good in the league, and I think his play style will fit the Browns well, and I just think it makes him so much more interesting. So I'm really glad he played well in the preseason game. I hope he is the answer to the Browns franchise quarterback struggles. I really do. I think that would be really fun if Shedeur Sanders is the answer for the Browns. I would really like to see it. So I'm really excited to see what continues to happen. I'm sure the preseason ratings for the Browns are going to be higher now that everybody's talking about Shedeur. And, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. And so Shedeur, he's being talked about constantly. There's people that obviously think, oh, we're overreacting. They might be right. There's also the point of he did look damn good. So I think it's really exciting. I think it's really fun. And I would like to see him continue to have success. I don't know. I'm excited for Shedeur. I want to see him do well. I'm so excited for this NFL season. I think there's a lot to look forward to, as always. And there's a reason the NFL's king. Like, I just get so pumped for the beginning of the season. There's nothing better than the first few weeks of the NFL season where every team believes they're going to be good. That's the fun part. Where, like, there's always some random team that starts off like 4-0 and everybody's like, oh my gosh, here come, some random team. And then by like week 10, we're like, oh, remember when we thought they were good? Like, that happens every time. And it's always fun to see what's real, what's not. I remember last year, first couple weeks of the season, it was like, oh my gosh, Jaden Daniels, is this really happening? Is he really this good? Turns out he was. Like, Jaden Daniels might have had the best rookie year for a quarterback we've ever seen. Like, it was crazy. He had one of the best rookie years for a quarterback I've ever seen. It's nuts. I thought CJ's year, it would take super long to top. Like, CJ Stroud had an incredible rookie year. And then Jaden Daniels, I think, topped it. And, like, it was crazy. He went to the NFC Championship. He beat the Lions. Nuts. So, there's always stuff where it's like, is this legit? Is this not? I love seeing that early on. I think it's super fun. So I'm stoked for the NFL season. We only got a few more weeks, and it's going to be great. I know we got a really exciting slate for the opening week of college football because Ohio State's going to play Texas week 1. So that's going to be pretty cool. Let's see it. I'm interested to see how good Arch Manning is this year starting at Texas because it's intriguing what's going on with the Colts because if Anthony Richardson isn't good this year, right, and they have a top pick, could it just happen to work out that the Indianapolis Colts end up with Arch Manning? It'd be a little too cute, but there's a possibility of it. There is a real possibility that is what happens. So I'm just saying, keep your eyes open because if the Colts start struggling this year, I could see that being the way things go for the Indianapolis Colts, which is really interesting. So I think once the NFL season starts off, we'll probably cut. I probably cut like my regular predictions pod. I'll probably do a hot takes pod with Austin. I might do an over under pod. Maybe I'll do a hot takes pod with RJ or somebody, do an over under pod with Austin. There's going to be multiple podcasts talking about the beginning of this NFL season because I'm that pumped and I'm that excited for it. So I think it's going to be really exciting. And yeah, the Brownies. It would be a little more fun to be excited about the Brownies if they weren't in the AFC North. Because, like, I can't bet on the Steelers being bad. Like, you just can't bring yourself to do it. So that's kind of that, right? And then the Ravens are obviously a good team. And the Bengals, we'll see. So it's like barring and like a incredible downfall for the Bengals, it's hard for me to put the Browns anywhere above fourth. It'd be fun if Shedeur is a great rookie year. But it's not like they play in the NFC South. I'm saying, like, when you're me, I think the Panthers can win the division. But part of that is there is a terrible team in our division, New Orleans Saints. I don't think the Falcons are as good as everybody thinks they are. And I think the Bucs are the same old Bucs. So I think it's doable for the Panthers. Whereas with the Browns, it's like, it's a completely different situation. That's the only thing that kind of dampens the excitement for Shedeur, is it's like he is playing in a really tough division. That's why I also think it's going to be interesting with the Bears this year, because I know everybody's really excited about that team, but the NFC North is a good division. Like, the Lions aren't going anywhere. The Packers are probably going to be better. And the Vikings, I don't think, are going to be bad at all. I think JJ is going to slide right in and do really well with them. So I know everybody's getting excited about the Bears. They got Ben Johnson and all that, but it's like, it's not going to be that easy. If they really are going to be a good team, it's going to be tough to be good in that division. So it's kind of the concerning part. See, I'm already talking NFL, and we're a few weeks out. I'm that excited. This is credit to the NFL of how strong the product is. But let's wrap things up. I told you this is going to be a quick pod. I just had a couple things I want to touch on. We're going to wrap things up with a little bit of a thought I had about a potential Flash movie, because I think we're going on a dark path. Because the Flash movie in 2023 was so bad, I think DC is going to take their time introducing the Flash. And I think that's bad, because I really think the Flash has a pretty large cultural presence at the moment, because the Flash show with Grant Gustin was very popular. I think a lot of people are aware of the Flash. And if they just introduced Wally West Flash, which I know the general public is used to Barry Allen, but James Gunn's clearly taking a lot from the DC animated series shows, and like the Justice League show and the Justice League Unlimited show. So I think he's going to go Wally West, which I would prefer, because I prefer Wally West Flash. But I think it would be fun to see him pretty early on in the DCU and make Flash, Barry Allen, kind of like the older sect of heroes, because James Gunn's already set up in this universe that there's like a long history of superheroes already. And I think it would be cool to introduce Wally West as the Flash and do all that, but I'm just afraid they're going to take their time, because that 2023 Flash movie is so bad. They're going to be like, oh, well, general audiences are turned off by the Flash at the moment, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I genuinely still think the Flash has motion with the general audience, and I really hope they don't hold off on a Flash movie, especially because we haven't seen a live-action Wally West movie. It would be really fun to see that and get a really good Flash movie, because I think he's very popular for DC. Like, I think he's more popular than Green Lantern. I would say he's probably DC's fourth most popular character, if you're not counting, like, if you're saying we're not allowed to use other Batman characters, because like Joker might be fourth, him or Harley Quinn. Like, they're pretty popular. But I'm saying, as far as just pure heroes, I think Flash might be DC's fourth most popular, and so it would really be a shame if they wait a long time on a new movie for him. As far as things I'd like to see, like I said, I'd like to see Wally West Flash. I feel like we need a reverse Flash in a movie, right? Like, reverse Flash seems to be the choice. So let's do that. Let's run that. And don't do Flashpoint. Just don't. Or we could do the Rogues. Do Captain Cold, Heat Wave, get all them. That would be fun too. Captain Boomerang, do all those guys. I think that would be really fun. Maybe save Reverse Flash for the second movie or something, but we don't do a Flashpoint movie. We don't need that. So yeah, I don't have a larger pitch for Flash. That's why I just threw it in this pod, because I got a couple things I want to talk about. But so I hope they don't wait a long time on a Flash movie, because I think it could be really popular for DC, and I think it's a character that a lot of people, me included, would be excited to see a Wally West Flash movie. But, all right, really quick pod here. I think I talked really fast. So if you're somebody who listens to these at like 1.5 speed, you're going to regret it on this one. I was on a move today. I don't know why. I guess I was just pumped for my boy Shedeur. Maybe I'll wear my Shedeur shirt ski for the next pod. But that's it from me. I will see you all in the next one. If you go see Naked Gun this weekend, enjoy it. If you're reading some Flash comics and you're like, this would be a great movie, just know I agree. So, yeah. All right. That's it from me. I will see you all in the next one. If you watch preseason football this weekend, just, take it with a grain of salt. Even though I just talked about how excited I was about Shedeur over preseason football. Just try to take it with a grain of salt. It's hard. It's hard. But, my dad was getting pumped about Skylar Thompson the other day. He was looking like a guy for the Steelers. So it's like, okay. Hey, quick note though. Bryce Young rolled out of the pocket in traffic. Ooh, dots him up in the end zone. Good night, Bryce Young. He looked good. I'm just saying, he looked good. I'm getting pumped. Week 1, we're smacking the Jaguars, right? Come on. All right. That's it.